225 clause 2. I don't know, Attorney General, whether you're there. Subsection 1 shall not affect the operations of any sentence imposed by a court-martial other than a sentence of death imposed by the general court-martial. You see, it means that you can only appeal about death and whether the trial was proper, but doesn't affect the sentence. Why should you have such a clause? That if somebody has been sentenced to life imprisonment, for example, and then the Court of Appeal has found that it was an illegal trial, the sentence is not affected. That was my interpretation. I could be wrong, because it said subsection 1 shall not affect the operation of any sentence imposed by a court-martial other than a sentence of death imposed by the general court-martial. So if you had other reasons, you could explain to see whether this particular clause is not going to be misread or misconstrued to mean that you can actually find impropriety in the sentencing, impropriety in the legality and of the trial, severity and or even leniency of the sentence, and yet it is not affected by the decision of the Court of Appeal. And why appeal to the Court of Appeal? I thought this is a subordinate court under 129. And subordinate to what? To the course of record. Meaning, if it is subordinate, it should be able to appeal to the High Court because it's subordinate to the High Court. Why are we jumping to the Court of Appeal? Yet this is a subordinate court. The Chairman, there are two things I want us to address about parallel or competing jurisdictions. Already there is a penal code provision which provides for some of these offenses unlawful possession of firearms, for example. And now all the firearms, you brought them here. What happens to the provisions of the penal code? Or we are repealing the penal code by necessary implication. Are we doing that? Because those provisions are there. And why are they there? It's because there are other weapons. For those of you who are used to weapons, I just see them. There are other weapons which are like for personal safety. For example, the small one, they call it a pistol. It's also listed. Yeah? It is now also listed, that one. Number 1. But I see so many people carrying them. In any case, since when did a pistol become a monopoly of the UPDF? The word used in the bill is monopoly. But I see so many people carrying them. I see even the police has weapons, doesn't it? The prisons has weapons, doesn't it? The Wildlife Authority has weapons, doesn't it? These private security people have weapons, don't they? Are those weapons which the police has a monopoly of the UPDF? Does the police need permission from the UPDF to hold those weapons? Does prisons need permission from the UPDF to hold those weapons? Because there are two categories of weapons, in my view. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert, but in my thinking. There are these which are meant for purely war purposes. I think Lieutenant General Herrero here will help me about. He's the one who knows those things. This one you use to do very bad things to other people. No, that was your word. You know, those you use to attack enemies. For example, you know, like an artillery piece. There's this one with too many guns, too many bullets, or whatever it is. Yeah, or either Honorable Chamaswet or the other one who said he was a... Okay, let me conclude. I don't want to excite people. There are those weapons, and Honorable Minister, you would get my support for those category of weapons, which we think are purely for UPDF. And no civilian should, under any circumstances, own, or even whether lawfully or even illegally, own that weapon. That one you'll have my support. But there are weapons which I think cannot be said to be a monopoly. You can't say monopoly, then you go ahead and you bring almost all weapons and you say they are what? They are monopoly. I think there is a problem there with the law, and we need to address that so that we are so clear. These people who are charged with the responsibility of keeping us safe, and they have been given equipment, we want to protect the equipment. That one they use to keep us safe. But the other equipment which you share, including with the civilians, some of these MPs carry them, by the way. Even other people in the street, they are carrying these small pistols, and so on, they do. So those cannot be your monopoly, and don't bring them as a monopoly. Then the other issue, Honorable Chair, I think just look at these classified materials. There are some which shouldn't be here, like these shoes. Yeah, please. If we have to start looking at shoes, this one looks like an officer's shoe. Really, Honorable Boss, please. Stop this. Because people are going to start looking. So, by the way, this shoe is gazetted. Come on, it's for officers. Please, don't vulgarize the law, please. Because we are missing out on the serious aspect, and now we have gone to small little things. And you have taken us there. Please, I think review that, come back, and then we can move on the same page. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
We have a situation where the Attorney General is required to be somewhere else now.